Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another video. So in this particular video, I'm going to talk about cellular network security. So we are going to basically go through the introductory part of cellular network, and then later on we will see how to go about attacking 3G and 4G network as well. So let's jump into it. This is basically a research topic. So I would request you guys to keep every content for educational purpose only. Do not misuse the content whatever been taught to you. So it's only for educational. So the first one to begin with, I would like to thank these two person, Ravi Shankar and Altaf. So these are the two guys who has done exclusive research on this topic, and I have just picked some of the content from their research topic as well and added some of my own knowledge. So let's jump into the first one, that is history of telecommunication security. So it basically began in 1877 in Sweden, and later on, if you see, we are in 2021, and it's not only like it begins with the wireline, but right now we are completely wireless, right? So there is no need of wire, and also there is 5G and 4G and all those high communication technology already available for us. Now, right now, it's completely seamless connectivity, absolutely low latency, even providing some gigabytes per second kind of connectivity. So right now we are living as per their prediction, and we are living to the fully communicated world. Before thinking about the current scenario, let's jump back to the past and let's look at how it begins. So we'll take back to the one generation network or 1G that probably very few people are aware of. I know whoever is watching this video, so they might not know like what was 1G and how it begins. So let's look at 1G first, then we'll come to the 2G, 3G and new networks. Now, if you look at, this is one of the typical public switch telephone network or PSTN about the 1G network. So earlier there used to be landline, there used to be one PSTN, which basically provides act as in everything for the telecommunication. And 1G typically supported analog voice call only. So it begins in 1980s, practically implemented all over the world, and this is one of the small architecture diagram. I do not want to go through everything, but yes, if you wanted to know more about, then you can go through this w7cloud.com and read some of the content. It's about I think one of the thing that you would definitely like to know about the PBX or private branch exchange. That is definitely one of the important part. So locals call between PBX used to be free completely, and because this there was nothing earlier available earlier, so that's why it got really high popularity. Now, whatever the problem with 1G network, basically there was huge issues like there was no authentication and encryption that was happening, and all those devices used to be really bulky. I mean, if you talk about the PBX, it used to be really huge, and also there was no roaming or international calls features available. There used to be only a localized network kind of a call within a state or within a country, but there was nothing support for international calls. So you can check in the diagram also, there used to be regional offices which again used to be used to different infrastructure hold together was needed, and also there used to be some complexity on wiring as well, that somebody only will understand whoever has done some 1G connectivity in past. Of course, we have faced a lot of issue with respect to connectivity as well, like the connection used to go out whenever there is some heavy rainfall or maybe there is some windy situation, and a lot of different issues used to happen with 1G network. Now, who were the stakeholders for the 1G network? There used to be huge demand when it launched, as I said. So there were different organizations who eyed on it completely. So there were like cellular network provider, there were end user equipment vendor, there were different organizations like Apple and a lot of different organizations. So the logo might, I mean, the graph that you see over here or the logo pictures that you see is a slight bit just random one I picked, but yes, there were some of the huge name which used to got attached to this telecommunication network. Of course, there was a needed for infrastructure and support that I just spoke, and also there is over the top media services like OTT services that begins to catch eye into it. Now let's look at the general network architecture. So there used to be one device, and there used to be RAN or basically radio access network, which used to act as an base station, and it typically connects to the core network, which is actually the main internal part, and there were different interfaces attached to the core network. So I'll show you more about core network in next slide. So if we go to here, the core networks, you could see that there were huge component inside it. Probably in the another slide you will see it. But yes, so in basic RAN architecture, there were a lot of issues. So there were issues regarding to interception. There were issues regarding to the local tracking or location tracking. It was used to be really transparent because that is something which is LAN connected, right? And it used to be really simple if you look at the internal as also. Now, man in the middle attack used to be really simple. If you would have seen some of the Govinda's funny movie, where Johnny Lever used to plug in one cable and used to hear every communication between Gadar Khan and Govinda. So, just a typical funny example, but yes, it used to be really simple. I mean, the man in the middle attack used to be there. I mean, it proves to be vulnerable to that particular attack. Also, there used to be denial of service attack and device identity theft also, which was one of the threat to this RAN architecture. A threat to the core network, if you see, there used to be one espionage issue, like there was nothing something of tracking that it could prevent from tracking. So it was used to be really easy for government to capture the information. In fact, there used to be some insider attacks and localization tracking, as I discussed earlier. Billing fraud used to be a huge issue there. People used to get some lakhs of amount of bill which was not actually even there, or even sometimes people used to forge for free calls, right? There used to be some attack like phone freaking and all those different attacks. Again, there was no such prevention against the denial of service attack also in past. Now let's look at some of the tools for exploitation. Let's focus on software, then we'll go to the hardware part. The software setup used to be really cheap. I mean, if you compare to huge amount, the $1,500 used to be really less. And again, there used to be some of people used to wrote some of the script for open source software and hardware. Then also there were some of the really popular network tools like Osmocom project, which is typically for 2G, 3G, which we will talk about slight bit later. But for your knowledge, these were some of the tools that used to be there for software, even from SRS, LTE, and other things. So these were some of the software that used to be exist for also that exist for attacking 2G and 3G network. You can go ahead and search about them if you are very interested. So there used to be some of the hardware also, like some of them were really low cost and compromised a small case, like your Femtos cell. Even sometimes people used to give it away for free, right? I mean, they just have to set up few of the network interfaces, and they have to set up some of the network devices, and it just used to work out of the box. Now there were also some of the SDR, like your ETUS research has some of the SDR. MyRead RF is another one of the cool devices. Then again, access to the application service like bulk SMS service provider. I'm pretty sure you would have used some of the way to SMS and different website. And also there used to be SSS7. So some of the key learning, like telecommunication network is really complex network, and whenever there is complexity, then it becomes really difficult to manage or maybe even make a proper configuration. Now network architecture has also evolved with time, and there were definitely a lot of security controls has been added. So we'll see them probably later. Now necessity of legacy system support was also there, because you cannot completely avoid, even if we are living in 4G or maybe 5G soon, but you still find that there are some of the 3G or even 2G connections still available. Now many standardization feature actually from 1990s and not necessary in 2017, and lot of easy to exploit code came as well, and there was lot of devices where this update were not been applied properly. Even if you are using BSNL or other, then you will see some of the exploit working. I'm pretty sure if you're college guys, then you would have found something. Now Moore's law principle for open source development for telecommunication also been applied, and infrastructure is also been applied. So next we are going to see some of the threat modeling from attacker point of view. So if you guys want me to make me more videos on telecommunication network, then please do let me know, and do comment if you like this particular video. Thanks for watching. Have a great time.